I think we're done putting ourselves over. No, Scooter?
I'd say we are.
Now, it's a great day for wrestling because we are wrestling with the news. And it came out, I believe, yesterday. Kayfabe has joined the dictionary. What are your thoughts on a wrestling term being an actual, word people could actually use now in non?
Um,
Yeah,
I mean, the word kayfabe has always been around. Uh, it's the days of the carnival barker and whatnot. Um, uh, I mean, I mean, it's great, I suppose.
should we
Just
keep kayfabe and not talk about kayfabe?
unless unless your name is actually kayfabe. Um, and by the way, I copyright that. That's my gimmick now. If you want to use it, you have to buy the rights from me. Uh,
We don't have a kayfabe, but we have a B fab.
it's not that fab.
That is not,
It's more like a B minus.
to say the least. I think it's good, but also bad at the same time because you don't want people knowing what kayfabe is, especially a dictionary. You know, a dictionary version of what it should mean. But as we all know, kayfabe is what we make it.
Kayfabe is the friends we made along the way.
Exactly. Speaking of kayfabe, Jade Cargill, she has officially signed with WWE. She's on board. Um, the whole internet exploded for obvious reasons.
Yep. And they actually talked about it on SmackDown last night.
Really?
Yep. They they did mention uh, Jade Cargill signing with the WWE. They call it the biggest free agent signing in years. Mm, uh, it, sure, okay. It got 20 million views. I mean, it's great. I hope she really gets seasoned. There we go. I pulled it up from my DVR. Uh,
You want them
yeah,
to season her? What kind of
you,
seasons? Like Tabasco, a little oregano,
you know
some
what I mean.
some
Um,
kayfabe.
uh, it, you know, when when she was in AEW, she started off hot, and then for some reason ran cold towards the end. And I don't know if how much of that was her and how much of that were her opponents, or how much of that was environment. Um, are they gonna fast track her to the main roster? Probably not. Uh, I mean, I'm assuming they're gonna do what they've been doing with Dragon Lee, and uh, as of uh, last night's SmackDown, it's incredibly obvious that they're that they think Dragon Lee's had enough time in NXT, and after No Mercy later tonight, Dragon Lee will most likely be part of SmackDown. Jade needs to get accustomed to working the WWE style. Because it's a style nowhere else. AEW really did work. It works the WCW style, and it worked. AEW also has a little bit of a smaller ring, just like WCW did.
Did it?
Yep.
WWE
It's
is
like
20 by 20, so are they 18 by 18?
yeah, it's about 2 inches like that around. Yeah, there's a reason. You know, all those moves they can do in AEW are not being done in a WWE ring. Uh, but I think that I think they already have a slogan set up for her, and that's always bet on Jade. Uh,
That's so stupid.
um, I mean, yeah, I mean, nobody wants to bet on Black anymore.
Yeah, I mean, he's in, the house has not been winning as of late.
Uh, I I really hope I really hope she does well. I hope she knows uh, not to wear uh, a, uh, a singlet that rides all the way up her ass.
Why do you think she got signed?
I mean, then why hasn't Sky Blue been signed? We'll come to that in a minute.
She still has a contract. Wait until it comes up.
Well, I mean, I'm sure RJ City is disappointed that he has to take Jade off his list of female wrestlers with colors in their name.
True, like Goldust and Hilo Brown.
And Ruby.
Ruby's Ruby.
And I know, but I'm saying, you know, I mean, there's Ruby, there's a Sapphire, there's a Nyla Rose with testicles. No,
Will you stop it? You know, whether she goes to the main roster or not, I don't necessarily think WWE is a place where she's gonna drive. She's accustomed to kind of doing whatever she wants because, AEW is the Wild West over there and whatever. But I don't see her liking being put in, you know, a slot B position rather than, she came in as 1A and she only became 1B at the literally tail end of her run there. And she's never going to be the top tier talent that she feels she is because of one name, and that's Bianca Belair. As long as Bianca Belair is there, she's never going to be one of. You kind of understand what I mean?
yeah, I do. I'd be remiss if I didn't say this kind of reminds me a little bit of all right, I'm gonna go back to it. It reminds me of the whole case with Linda Miles and Shaniqua. Yeah, Linda Miles and Jackie Gata, the winner and runner up of the second season of Tough Enough.
Okay.
And Liv and Miles was about Jade Cargill's size in terms of height. Close, and her claim to fame is being the dominatrix manager for the Basham brothers, they named her Shaniqua.
Yeah.
That was dead in the water.
I don't know if it was dead in the water. They did very well. They won tag team gold.
I mean, considering that, you know, before, you know, Doug Basham and Danny Basham, aka the Maha, were supposed to be kind of part of the group, part of the golden class of OVW. Like they people down in OVW were saying these two are going to be top stars, and one of them was even going to hinder the spot in the Royal Rumble. I think 2004, but it got taken away from him. Maybe it was 2003. I don't know. But it's I hope, and I hate to say this, I hope Jade learns to be humble. And not in the gross chic way that you're thinking. Would you stop?
In what way?
I mean, she kind of has to learn that you gotta stop thinking her shit don't stink.
That's why she cuts the shit, Scooter. Duh. Unfortunately, there's nobody in WWE currently named Tony, so I don't know what she's going to do there. Would it be just hilarious if she called Vic Joseph for Byron Saxton Tony? And they're like, well, I'm Byron. And, well, I ain't looking at you.
She called Byron Taz.
Well, somebody that might need some humility to somebody that's been very humbled in his journey on AEW. Brian Pillman Jr. His vignettes for a NXT debut have been teased.
Yes, and it was only the first one this past Tuesday, and you know it almost got by me. I mean, okay, it was Bengals football, and then it ended with the WCW Saturday Night, the old set, and at that moment, you knew it was Pillman. Uh, I real I really wish, you know, you get him, you might be able to have something new for Natalia to do. If they can get Harry Smith back,
Oh no. No.
have them managed by Tyson Kidd.
No. Absolutely not.
Why? Do you want a new version of the Hollywood Blondes?
I would prefer that over a new Heart Foundation. I honestly would.
All right, we'll call them the Lung Foundation.
You know, in all honesty, I want to see Brian Pillman in a singles role. I don't want to see him in a tag team. He showed what he could do in a tag team. He was moderately successful. Okay, great. I want to see what he could do in a singles role, and really be able to spread his wings and see what he can do there.
They're gonna put him with Josh Briggs in NXT, and it's gonna be mullet time.
Oh fuck no,
Yeah,
no.
like it's bullet time for the Matrix. It's mullet time.
The only thing I really want to see with Brian is some interaction with Stone Cold.
That's what I was also thinking.
And the problem with NXT is we're never going to see Stone Cold on NXT.
Yeah, there's also the problem of
Money?
pulling out a live gun and having that brought back up.
Would, wouldn't that be awesome though? Stone Cold comes back. Oh, the lights went out. Oh, what was that noise? Stone Cold's been shot. Stone Cold's been shot.
Oh my god.
You son of a bitch. It took me 20 plus years. But I finally got revenge for my daddy.
Eh, let's see who you really are. And then he just pull his whole face off and he starts bleeding all over the place. Ah, I guess he was real. Oops.
So, what's also real is Mandy Rose potentially coming back.
Nope.
She
Nope.
did an interview. She said, you know, it has to be the right call. And I think if Bengal Bros come and recruit her, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. This is the woman who made a bunch of money outside of OnlyFans and recently announced she's starting in OnlyFans.
I got OnlyFans was the reason she got fired.
It wasn't OnlyFans. It was one of the other sites
You
like OnlyFans. I think it was fans dot fansly fans dot
you say
ly.
potato, I say why you're saying potato to me.
I say, show me some nipple.
So you're saying it wouldn't be a good move if she joined the Bengal Bros.
I mean, I
And then
mean,
obviously, Drew McIntyre and Sheamus.
Bangbros.com.
Talking about a bang, Adam Cole,
Captain Steph. Oh God!
his ankle exploded at Grand Slam.
What
When
a
the match wasn't doing anything really that physical. Broke his ankle in 3 places, destroyed some ligaments. He's going to need surgery. I,
he is.
I, I felt bad for him.
I know, but he's potentially ended his career by doing something flashy that didn't even need to be done.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised if Cole is done in the ring for at least a year and a half at the most. I mean, Cole is a dedicated worker. He's a strong person in terms of health. So he's got that going for him. If anyone could recover faster, it's Cole.
I think the biggest problem is, when it comes to legs, yeah, things break. You could, ultimately get it healed. But the ankle is like a whole other animal in the sense of a lot of your weight goes on that small portion of your leg. And, if he does something before, if something goes wrong again, it could be really disastrous for him, whether it's in the ring or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and the question is, do do AEW take the risk and like what I'm afraid they'll get one doctor to clear him when he shouldn't be cleared. Down the line. Um, that and I think I think Cole might quit outright if he gets relegated to a backstage role.
I think you might be right about that. But I don't think AEW is going to take the risk of, having one doctor clear him. I feel like they're going to, when it comes to the safety of the wrestlers inside the ring, yeah, they're like, fuck it, rip your head off. We'll figure it out later. But, once the red head is actually ripped off and, somebody needs to sew it back on, they let their wrestlers, rest and make sure that, when they ask them to rip their head off again, they're doing it safely. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It definitely comes at a sucky time when, Adam Cole was still, I don't want to say he was doing great things, but he was in a major rivalry that everybody wanted to see.
yeah,
And this really does, you know, cut the legs out of AEW to have your biggest attraction essentially not there anymore.
and this also has to be a little bit of almost a morale crush for underused talent in uh, in AEW, or at least yeah, talent that look like they could be, in line for a title match down the road. Because you also have to remember, Cole's had a number of title matches and hasn't singles title matches and hasn't won a single one.
Well, I mean, like you said, there's not a lot of viable challenges for that championship.
There are. They're just. I think AEW's biggest fear is that they don't exactly know what to do to make MJF look like a dominant champion.
Because there's
And,
nothing you really can do. He's not that
yeah,
type of wrestler.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That can only last for so long until, you know, you're asking your top stars to lay down. Do, do you think that it just happened to be Danielson, Cole, and Joe? No, they got put with MJF because they were former WWE talent.
Right. And former world champions themselves.
Yes. So at the same time, Cole's injury could be a morale crusher. It could be a morale booster. Um, so it remains to be seen. It kind of feels like AEW has also given up a little bit on Britt Baker.
I don't know if they gave up on her or she gave up on them. Because it does seem like she just isn't happy to be there anymore. It kind of
Yeah,
seems like she just phones it in.
I mean, when you know, they fed her to Statlander. That's and as much as I love Chris Statlander, it that's a that's a match she shouldn't have won by any means.
It's not a match she should have won with the amount of build up that they had,
Yeah.
which was none. I learned that night that Statlander was fighting Baker.
Yep.
If you have Britt Baker antagonizing Chris Statlander, saying you're nobody, you have weak knees, I'm a doctor, I could give you a cleaning, it makes it makes you want to see the match. And that's always been the biggest problem with the women's division in AEW was they just say, this person's gonna wrestle for this championship. Okay, it's next week. Well, there's no build up. Okay, so why do I want to see it if they're just wrestling for a championship and there's no story attached?
Yep.
I think the only actual storyline I remember involving the TNT Championship is when Nyla Rose stole the championship from Cargill. And then she stole her car. And then we never seen her get the car back, but she got the title back. And she seemed
Uh,
content with that.
I mean, that's why they have insurance. Title belts don't have insurance.
Chris Jericho
Hmm.
wished that he knew that.
Hmm. That's an interesting idea. Title belt insurance.
Well, keeping on the topic of the women of AEW, Serena Deeb, um, we haven't seen her for quite some time. And it seems like there might be some issues with, the female locker room, um, management, Tony Khan, and that is the reason she hasn't been on TV. Are we looking at another Thunder Rosa problem here?
The question is, does anybody care? As much as and as mildly interesting as it was to see the professor on AEW, this is God, this is honestly, this seems like nothing. Like, who cares? Why should we care?
Well, I mean, it's not exactly because, oh, Serena Deeb is being mistreated, but, it's about the trend. Thunder
Hmm. Yeah.
Rosa, Serena Deeb, the whole Lufisto thing, which, gives
For
more fuel to that there's issues in the female locker room. Some girls are held down, some aren't given the opportunity because there is a hierarchy in that locker room.
but that's one of the big unspoken rules of pro wrestling when you're playing in the big leagues. There is a hierarchy. And as much as we'd hate to see it, you know, there's never going to be at any point in the locker room where everybody is considered equal.
But
It, you know, it, a pro wrestling locker room is like the stock market. It goes up, it goes down. You know, some you sell high, some you sell low, and you know, and some you just get drunk with in a bathroom in Tulsa.
well, we've been talking about Britt Baker phoning it in. Should she have at the amount of pull she has with the amount of stock she has invested in the company right now?
That's the thing about
Hypothetical stock, I should say, not
that's
actual stock.
that's the thing about Brit. As as valuable as we see her, she sees herself as being more noble for women in pro wrestling. She she has no problem doing the job for Statlander and not exactly caring that she lost that match. And that's a that's a it's a great you know attitude to have as a human being. It's honorable. As a pro wrestler, you know, half the time you're gonna kick yourself in the ass for doing something like that.
Right.
So Britt wants the female roster to succeed. That's clear. Uh, the thing is that female roster, there's no conceptual end to it. So it's like, okay, we got new women coming in. Okay, let's get them to work. Let's get them to work with Britt. We'll put them over Britt, and and the cycle continues.
Essentially, the gatekeeper.
Yes, and eventually that leads to uh, you know uh, a reduction in self esteem in confidence, um, and it makes talent into doormats.
Oh, it's definitely, an issue because the women don't necessarily get a lot of exposure on Dree shows. I heard of a concept that somebody put out there that put Dynamite as all of the sketches and the flippy wrestlers and all that good stuff on Dynamite. Put the real wrestlers and the serious wrestling, with the wrestlers who wrestle on Saturday. And Rampage, make it all women. Have all the women have their storylines and fight on Friday. What are your thoughts on that?
I've always wondered if and I mean, if either company had the guts to produce a show with an all female roster. We're not talking. We're not talking Shine, Stardom, uh, WOW. We're not talking about that. There's certainly enough talent. The question is it is it bankable? Is it really inherently going to generate profit? It will generate interest. It will pique the interest of wrestling fans. Is it viable as a business decision though?
If WWE did it, yeah. If AEW does it, their audience aren't looking for the women.
See, WWE could afford to not only do it live, but they could probably at least get an extra house show out of it.
Oh, without a doubt.
I mean, with Rampage ends up being taped, and a lot of the audience goes home before you know whatever they have left to tape for Rampage uh, has been recorded.
Right.
It's
I mean, when it comes to let's take the live attendance out of the equation. Ratings. Ratings have not been great for Rampage. In general, because it is taped. Even though it is taped, but you have all the women on the show. Do you think that having it as an all-women show would generate enough buzz for people to tune in? Even if it's a casual fan that's not looking at spoilers, or people that did see what was going to happen and maybe say, okay, well, I know what happens, but I'm gonna watch it anyway.
there's there's another variable in all of this, and that's AEW's booking doesn't know how to write. They barely know how to write, uh, you know, programs for two female feuds.
Right.
and
They don't even
making
know
an
how to
all
write feuds for the men, let alone the women.
but this is where my point comes in. Now, if they do an all female show, now they have to they have to put in that extra work. And as much as we'd like to see it, that would probably that would probably frustrate AEW's bookers to who are being stretched thin as it is to have to come up with 3 to 4 more female feuds or female stories.
Right. Well, that brings us to a quote from Tony Khan. He did. I guess it was a media scrum for WrestleDream. Um, when when it pertained to possibly going on a different network, um, or staying where they currently are, um, he said, and I quote, "I would do anything I can to protect the jobs and livelihood of the people who work here."
Oh, I haven't laughed like that since I was a little girl. Thank you. Oh man, Tony Khan, the ultimate bullshitter,
Move aside, Vince McMahon. There's somebody that bullshits better than you.
and he doesn't even need a slick mustache.
How would Tony Khan look like with a mustache at this point?
He would look like he was wearing a fake mustache.
I mean, it looks like a fake mustache on Vince.
I know, but I mean, at least it makes Vince look like his evil twin, like Rodrigo McMahon or something. It's like a soap opera.
Did you ever see that movie, The Grand Budapest Hotel?
Yes,
You know, Zero had that like little line of a mustache.
yes.
That's how I feel like Tony would look.
But he have to wear like a monocle too.
Oh God. Are we
Uh,
talking about promoters or are we talking about like supervillains at this point?
I don't know.
Should we wrap up the news?
Uh, I mean, one positive thing about AEW, Sky Blue's butt went viral.
It does every week.
Uh, yes, but uh, you know who's responsible for it?
Oh, Gilmaker?
No, for her butt going viral. There's actually someone responsible for it.
Sky Blue Sims?
Kyle Fletcher.
Oh, like there's so much I could say about that.
Yep, Aussie open. Aussie open your legs.
Well,
I'm
somebody likes to watch, and that's all I should probably say about that.
like, want to hear something really terrible? She was like, at one point she was like, can we tell them all I'm underage? And I'm just reading that like, bong bong, da 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 da.
Which is kind of weird, considering she has an OnlyFans.
Law and Order, the OnlyFans unit.
Produced by Dick Wolf.
That's funny because that's his name.
Yeah. Alright. I think that should conclude the news for now.
Yep.
And now a quick word from our sponsors.
Hey folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show, support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.